I'm installing a RESU10H battery, LG RESU10H battery in my house. And I wanted to make a video to show you how I'm doing that and some of the decisions I made around that. Because a lot of the videos that I've seen show people just throwing them up on the wall, they put the bracket up, put the battery up, and it's all done in 1 or 2 seconds of time-lapse video, and the information that I needed wasn't there. So I thought, well, I'm doing it, I figured it out, I would like to show you how I did it. So I live in a wood frame house, and a lot of those videos show people mounting these batteries on brick buildings or cinder block buildings, and the engineering on those is a lot simpler because you can put it anywhere you want. But here in my wood frame house, I have to put it into the studs. So I have a stud that runs here, and I have a stud that runs here. Like most houses in the United States, the studs are OC 16 inches. So that limits exactly where I can put it and how I can put it. The other thing that I wanted to show you is that I'm using these. These are 3-inch by 3/8 inch lag bolts, and that's what's going to go into these studs. The other thing I wanted to say is that the manual for the RESU10H specifies that you need to put in 12 screws, 12 bolts, but it literally is not possible to do that in a wood frame house unless you take the wall apart and re-engineer the internals of the wall. So for that reason, I'm only using 8 screws. And again, a lot of the other videos that I see, they use 4 screws, and they seem to be perfectly happy with that. You know, I think that something that weighs 220 pounds deserves some support. One of the pieces of research that I did indicated that one of these bolts in a 2x4, an 8-foot 2x4, can support by itself about 100 pounds. So 8 bolts should probably take care of the 220 pounds that I'm putting up there. I also spoke with one of my friends who's an engineer, and he pointed out that it is these upper bolts that manage most of the load, because the bracket is trying to pull away from those upper bolts. It's pushing towards the lower bolts, and so he pointed out that I probably only need 2 bolts down here instead of 4. So with that, let's see if we can get this installed. Oh, one more detail about this. You'll notice that I'm indoors. I don't have a garage, so I didn't put it into the garage. And I do have a laundry room where I could put it, or I could put it on the outside of the house, but I decided to put it inside the house because batteries in particular are very sensitive to temperature, and they really want to have, if you can give it to them, they want a temperature controlled location. So, you know, I could have hung this on the wall, but it would have been necessary for me to build an enclosure for it to keep the rain off of it, because that's specified in the manual. And it's also not supposed to be in direct sun. So for all those reasons, I decided to put it in the house and do the wiring necessary to get the wires back to the inverter, and make the whole thing look that way. All right. So this is now's the time when I should probably go into high speed mode. But you can turn your YouTube video up to high speed if you want to. One of the things that I find challenging here is this thing is pretty heavy, and so I gotta lift it up to get it into place. Now, the other thing that I have to manage is I have to manage the clearances. And so there has to be 300 millimeters of clearance on this side and 300 millimeters of clearance on this side, and up and below. Below is a little bit more. I think it's 720 or 600 on the bottom. So that determines where I can put this bracket. So let's just see. What I really want is I want I want to put it like this. I want these screws here and then here, because all the weight is on this side of it. That's where the actual battery component is. Battery cells are. So, but I think if I do that, that's not going to give me enough clearance over on this side. So let's just see what's going to work. So, well, that's that. You can't see it, but that is just that is exactly, it's 320 millimeters from the air conditioner. So I think I'm going to go with that. So here we go. Let's start with this one. That. Get another one. Here. Now, of course, this is not going to show the actual installation of the battery. And that's because engineering this was the part that I wanted to know about when I started this project. There's lots of videos that show people wiring up the batteries. So I may make another video about that, but I don't think that anybody needs to know that. All right, so are we level? Yes, we are. Good, because it does have to be level. By the way, the location that I selected in my house is an alcove off of my kitchen. It's kind of like a storage area, like a sort of like an extended open air pantry with that kind of space in your kitchen, and so that's why I selected this location. comes. That one doesn't want to go in. I wonder what that's running into. Okay. All right, so my bracket is mounted, and I have my buddies coming over tomorrow to help me actually move that battery into this space, and I'll have to figure out what's going on with this bolt. But all the other ones are solid. Okay, there you go. Thanks for watching.